And we're live, I think. It's always a bit difficult to tell, but we should be live right about now.
Yeah. Every live stream that you ever see always starts with this, a little bit of doubt as to whether or not it's live.
Yeah.
But okay, so today's topic is going to be our favorite exercises.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what it is. Our favorite exercises. We're talking about fitness, obviously. We're talking about sport. We're talking about moving our bodies and doing exercises. We're going to talk a little bit about our favorite stuff to do in the gym, as well as outside of the gym, and just in life in general, what we've done over the years. Mats is just taking care of some technical stuff.
Making sure I'm sitting right. And yes, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I cut my hair. And I'm not happy about it. I hate it. But it had to be done. I'm thinking probably in a month or so it's going to be looking a little bit how the way I want it. But it was getting tangled and warm, and it had to be done.
It was time.
Yeah.
But then
feels good though.
You did it yourself with the
with a machine.
And so, but I don't think it's really that bad.
No, I mean, it's not ugly. It's just it's not the way I like to look.
Yeah. But we're live on Patreon, and of course, if you're watching this when we publish it on YouTube later, you should know that you can join the next Hangout live. Talk to us in the chat by going to patreon.com/sweetnaturalliving, where we offer exclusive content and hangouts like this, Q&A videos for all you guys, and a few other things too. We have like a coaching tier as well. Jenny is in the chat saying a nice hair, Mads. She thinks it looks awesome, and
thank you.
Happy Western States 100 Day, Mikkel. Or yeah, thanks. Or as they say, Happy Statesmas. I've heard them, or Merry Statesmas. I've heard them say that. At least that's what they say over at the Run Steep Get High channel. Yeah, I've been looking at the Iron Far Twitter feed, where they constantly update with pictures and stuff like that about the progress of the race. For those that don't know, it's the Western States is a 100-mile race in America, and it is one of the biggest ones, one of the most awesome ones. It's going to be a hot day, and it's cool. No, it's not cool, it's hot.
I've been out with our grandfather and my father out all day, walking around, looking at cool board games. Personally, I was walking around and they were like sitting around. The sun is shining, and it's pretty good.
I've had guitar students all day. But anyway, let's get into the topic. Anyone who's watching, say hello in the chat. Of course, Jenny, we know you're there. And if anyone else is there, you can say hi too. Let's talk about our favorite exercises.
Yeah, let's first put it into context. As I said in the notes about this video, you were thinking initially just exercises in the gym, but I was thinking more exercise in the gym, definitely, but also maybe what about sprints, what about hill repeats, what about cycling, I don't know what kind of exercises you do. Anything relating to a specific type of activity within an activity.
Yeah, like what I said in a few weeks ago when I published a video on our channel talking about, or actually on the Lone Trail channel, talking about the differences between what is training and what is an exercise. And the definition of an exercise in my as far as I'm concerned, is when you do something for a specific purpose. So you're doing an exercise to improve a specific aspect of your fitness, for example.
Yeah.
Our second Jenny is in the house. Jenny Kanelhjärta says hi. Hello.
AKA the Majul Hunter.
Yeah. So I was thinking about something just now. Yeah, I was thinking that I wanted to also mention that if you're interested in fitness, of course, you should check out my other YouTube channel, The Lone Trail. Just wanted to mention that. Okay, so
I'm imagining like a what's that guy called, a nature program guy? The old Attenborough talking about the Majul hunter out in the jungles, walking around grabbing dates off the trees. Palms.
The Majul hunter is out searching for dates. She hasn't had a date in
5 days.
Hours. 5 days.
5 hours.
Okay, so well, going back a few years, about if we're talking about what we've been doing in our lives so far, we did a lot of well, you've done a lot of different sports, and we spoke about this in the past, but
yeah,
I've mostly done taekwondo. I did taekwondo throughout my childhood and teenage years. You also did taekwondo for a long period.
Yeah.
And within taekwondo, of course, there's a lot of different exercises. You do strength training, you do aerobic training, you're doing stretching, and of course you're fighting and doing martial art sparring and all kinds of stuff. Other than that, there was school where we did random stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also running quite a little bit. In my whole life I've been running on and off, so running has definitely been one of my favorite things, and I guess I'll just say that right off the bat then, that definitely one of my favorite exercises, if not the favorite exercise for me, if that's okay going into that already, is running.
But I would say, what type of running?
Yeah.
Like exercise, like you have running, you have cycling, you have bodybuilding, strength lifting, whatever. And within those you have exercises.
Yeah.
So what type of...
Yeah, so running wise, there's all kinds of different levels of running, different distances you train for and stuff. I guess if I was to call it an exercise, I would probably, I don't know, like, do you mean like a long run would be an exercise, or?
We're on the edge of exercises.
We're
it is more specific to weightlifting, I suppose. But.
Yeah, we're talking general first, and I will get into the gym soon, where we'll talk about specific exercises, I guess. But okay, but let's approach it like that, though. My favorite running exercises. That's probably the long run. I do love doing the long run once a week, doing a longer run where you run a bit easy and you focus on distance and time on feet. But I also lately I've been doing a lot of track workouts, and that's been really fun.
Yeah.
Just like working on specific aspects of aerobic fitness, working on the speed aspect, working on the VO2 max aspect, working on the lactate threshold, that sort of thing. And I made some videos on my the Lone Trail channel on YouTube about that. I just published a video yesterday, I think, or day before, with a vlog from one of those workouts. So I do like doing specific workouts like that. But throughout my life so far, it was always, everything I did was just, I didn't have a favorite exercise. I didn't have a favorite sport, really. I was just doing taekwondo and running sometimes, and just randomly being somewhat active, but not really. Yeah. And you did a lot of different sports too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, did you have any favorite things to do when you were growing up, or?
No.
But
a few years ago, I was definitely liking to. I liked to practice standing on my hands up against the wall and not. That was pretty fun. I had practiced that for ages.
And you were also doing like stretching.
Yes.
Stretching exercise is almost like a yoga kind of routine every morning for a few years.
Yeah, 5 years maybe.
Yeah.
That's also good.
Jenny Kaneliarta wants to know if we did any football, because that was her sport while growing up. We've both. No, I've never been part of a football team, but I did have a period. I go through periods. We all do. I had a period when I was probably like 11, 12, I think around the time when Brazil and Norway were in the world finals or whatever, like they were up against each other in the final. I was rooting for Brazil, strangely enough. But I had a period of maybe 6 months or so where I was like totally into football, and I wanted to play football. But other than that, I've never been very good with the ball.
No, same here. I was on a team for a couple of months, and it was a terrible experience. That was about it.
Yeah. How long was it?
Couple of months.
Just a couple of months? Was it that short? I feel like it must have been like a year.
Oh, no, not that long. Maybe half a year, maybe.
Neither of us were really good with the ball. I mean, I could literally try and kick the ball that direction, and it would literally go 90 degrees like to the other direction. Like, I was just terrible. I'm still pretty terrible with football and basketball and that sort of thing.
Jenny Canella says that she's doing that now. I suppose you're talking about stretching and maybe standing on her hands, maybe both. And Jenny Marie was all about dancing when she grew up. Also went to circus school, did some intense handstands training.
Wow. Such a exotic life. I mean, circus school, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And dancing is super cool too.
Mm-hmm.
That was me with the ball. Yeah. So I guess the point is a long introduction to just say that we've been always somewhat into sports and somewhat active, doing a lot of different things. But over the last 2 years, especially the last year, but like last 2 years, even 3, we've been getting, actually after we started eating raw food, after we started getting into healthy living, we got more and more interested in fitness, and that's really taken over our lives in a good way over the last couple of years, to the point now where that is like, for me, running is definitely the most important thing in my life, I think, right now. And then along with the Sweet Natural Living and the Lone Trail and YouTube and Patreon, all this, our online business, that and my running just takes up all my time basically, and I love it.
Yeah.
And you're into weightlifting now.
Yeah, definitely. So let's get into the gym, because that's what I really want to talk about.
Yeah. So in the gym, there are a bunch of things you can do, right? I mean,
yeah,
you can do a lot of different things in the gym. I mean, you can do cardio in the gym too, right? I mean, you can go on the bike. You can go. Let's go through a workout and talk about the different exercises we like. For example, you're getting into the gym and you want to warm up.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get warmed up.
I always use the
elliptical
machine with both arms and legs. The reason I do it is simply because it's, in my opinion, the best way to warm up every muscle in your body. If you're biking, you're just doing the legs. If you're running, it's primarily legs, and there's a lot of, if you're going to do squats afterwards, it doesn't really feel good to have been running before, I feel. You could do rowing, like with the fast rowing, but that's mainly upper body and mainly pulling. So with the elliptical, I find I can emphasize, and I usually do, I emphasize the one that I'm putting focus on first. So if I am going to do bench press and just do pushing exercises first, I kind of lean forward a bit and warm up more with the pushing with my arms. And if I'm doing pulling, I'm leaning back a bit and pulling more. If I'm doing legs, I'm emphasizing legs more.
I didn't know that, but that's a
pretty
good
specific,
idea.
But
it's a very good idea to do that.
All the old school bodybuilders were always doing either elliptical or incline walking on a treadmill to burn calories in their cutting season.
Yeah, that's a good warm up. I tend to just do the bike because I'm looking to also get a little bit of more aerobic time. I wanna get 15 to 20 minutes or even just 10 of extra aerobic time, because over the course of a week I'm in the gym for like 3 or even 4 times a week, and so I end up getting another an hour over the course of a week of extra easy aerobic efforts. That's why I like to do the bike. I mean, I could do the elliptical too, but I just like the bike, and I'm mostly focusing on legs when I'm in the gym, but once a week I do upper body as well. And so I like the bike to warm up. And then like Jenny says there, by the way, Jenny Canerata, they're both Jennys, so we have to we have to say the whole name. Jenny Canerata says she doesn't really go to the gym, and Jenny Marie says, get a gym buddy, Jenny. I like it so much better when I'm with my cousin. And Jenny Canerata says, good idea. I do prefer working at home at the moment.
You could become Jenny the Deadlifter.
Yeah.
It's not a bad title.
There's a lot. It's nice to work out at home too if you prefer that, of course. And it is a good idea to have a buddy with you if you need sort of, especially in the beginning maybe. The gym can sometimes be a little bit intimidating. I mean, I remember I was a little bit intimidated at the beginning, because you're not used to the exercises. Maybe you're not entirely sure how to do it, and you're a little bit worried that people will look at you strange if you do it wrong or something like that.
Sitting on the pull down the wrong way or something.
Yeah, pulling down with.
I've seen it.
It happens, and it's okay. But that's when you have a buddy with you. It's easier to just play around and experiment a little bit.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of girls, very small girls, like they were quite skinny. Not in a bad way. I mean, I'm just saying they didn't look like they'd done a lot of weightlifting, and they were cooperating, and it was funny to see because they were kind of like lifting. They were cooperating to lift the bar, the 40-pound barbell. They went on either side and they lifted it down to put it on something else or whatever. But it was just, they were cute. It was just funny to see them very focused and lifting things together, and it was funny.
Yeah.
So anyway,
warming up is done.
Yeah.
And we're moving on to the main portion of the lifting. There are compound exercises and isolation exercises. Those are the main two categories. Within the two categories, there are barbells, which are the long iron poles.
Yeah,
bars.
I guess it's actually just called bars, and then the original it was bells. It was like a round thing on it before. Maybe. That's probably why it's called barbell. Mm-hmm. But it is the bar. Yeah.
And then you have the dumbbells, which are the mini versions, which you hold in your hands. You have cables, like the one you can do chest press with, like the ones that are cables, long cables. And you have machines, which are stationary kind of machines, which you can move big specific parts, and it lifts weights up and down.
Mostly with cables. There's just internal cables in the machines, but there are also ones with weights and stuff.
Yeah, but it's cable machines and machines are two different things.
Of course.
Yeah,
I'm just saying there's a cable system inside which is moving the weight.
Those are pretty much the main ones.
So how should we do it? Should we go through each muscle group and say our favorite exercise for that muscle group, or should we just overall do the best exercises in general? I mean,
this is about our favorite exercises and your favorite exercises.
Yeah.
So let's do the first thing you said. In all exercises, there are basically three categories. It's pushing, it's pulling, or it's legs. Pushing incorporates triceps, chest, front deltoids, shoulders,
middle deltoids.
Yeah, kind of. And pulling is back delts, a little bit middle, your whole back in different ways, and biceps. Legs are your whole legs generally, but you could say quad work, front of the legs, and glutes and hamstring work. And then you have auxiliary exercises like abs and calves.
Yeah.
So favorite push exercises.
Yeah, should we do that, or maybe it's a good idea, but what if we start by saying our favorite overall exercise, and then we'll talk more details and more details. I mean, first of all, if we had to choose one exercise as an overall,
okay, if we had to choose,
there's two choices. Either we talk about our favorite exercises, like we were sort of saying we were, or we'll actually go through a ton of exercises and just talk about exercises. That's basically the two differences. And
I don't know.
I was thinking we could start by saying our favorite exercises, and then we'll break it down further and further into more details and discuss each body part and each push exercise and all that stuff.
Well, I couldn't say. I don't know if I could put one exercise as my favorite, but it seems to vary a lot. Do you have one? I might think about it.
I definitely have a favorite exercise. There's no doubt. It's the deadlift.
Yeah.
The deadlift, for me, is like life. If I wasn't running, I would just be deadlifting all the time. I mean, it just feels like the most awesome exercise ever. For those that don't know, it's basically standing up, bending down, and lifting up a heavy weight, standing up again. That's pretty much what it is. And what I like about the deadlift is it's such a massive move. It's such a heavy, it's the heaviest lift that a human can do. It's literally the most complete lift that you can do. It's the heaviest you'll ever lift, and
uses pretty much every single muscle in your body, except maybe like your front and mid shoulders and abs.
Oh, abs are super involved.
Are they?
Of course, if you didn't have the abs,
you'd
basically how would it be? You would just fall back. Yeah, so your abs are keeping you your core stable isometrically. It's just something really nice about that movement. It feels really primal and just like, I like to do it. And it's very good for runners, of course, to develop the glutes and the hamstrings and the lower back really gets strong there. Yeah. So as a one favorite exercise in the gym, deadlift. And you have to choose one too.
Yeah. I think probably bench press, which basically answers Jenny Kanelhjarta's question. She asks, which body part do you guys enjoy to work out the most? And for me, it's definitely pushing movements. So that is pretty much triceps and chest. Chest primarily, I think. Bench press, why? It's a heavy compound movement, uses a lot of muscles, and it's something very intimidating and scary about being under the bar, lifting it off, and just like when it's going down, it has to go up. You don't have any choice, and it's very satisfying to just bring the bar up, and it's kind of one of the most measurable ways to show strength. I mean, all of the big lifts like bench press, squat, and deadlift is very good measurements of absolute strength. So when you're doing a new PR on bench press, you're like, I was not able to lift 65 kilos before, but now I am, and that's just fun.
Yeah.
It's also I know
it is a good exercise. I do love the bench press as well. There's something also so contained about it. You're just lying there, and the only thing you're doing is extending your arms.
Yeah,
like you just have to get them out there. The deadlift is much more complex in terms of moving correctly. I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things you have to focus on in a bench press about moving correctly, but much more in a deadlift. I mean, it's in a bench press. It's you could say in the most simple way you could explain a bench press as get the bar up, just extend your arms. Whereas in a deadlift, you can trip over from the front, you can fall back, you can hang back, you can.
So I guess
you can bend your back. There's a lot of room for a little
there's more room for dangerous situations with the deadlift.
Yeah, or just like weird movements. Basically.
Yeah, maybe because it's the bigger. It is a heavier lift, so it's easier to damage something if you do it wrong.
Yeah.
That said, I would still say that the bench press is the more technical of it. It requires very, very minute changes of muscles and activations that.
I disagree, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Jenny Marie says that
I still bench more than you though.
You do. He's now finally stronger than me in the bench press. That is to be expected though. I don't bench press a lot and he does it a lot, so really nice. Jenny Marie says that she's just starting out with weights, of course. We've been making a program for her, so she's doing that, and she says deadlifting feels good. That's good.
So what are your guys' favorite exercise? I mean, Jenny it might not be in the gym, but I'm sure you have an exercise that you enjoy the most. And also, Jenny Marie, you talked about deadlift, but is it your all-time favorite?
This Patreon channel is a perpetual Jenny fest. That's how we like it. What are your favorite exercises? Tell us all about it.
She also asks, what are your favorite core exercises?
I love core work.
I have a very specific one. Hanging leg raises, where you hang and raise your legs up, either with your knees like that, or straight out. I prefer straight out when I manage, but I can only do like a few of those. So yeah, that's probably the one I like the most.
Yeah.
Really, especially if you're doing the knees up, you can kind of crunch at the end, which is really when you're lifting your legs, it's primarily a hip flexor movement, but at the end, if you're like crunching really at the top, you can really feel it activating your upper ab area.
Yeah, Jenny, that's her favorite too.
Oh, yeah, cool.
My favorite core. After I learned the fact that squats and deadlifts is actually excellent core training, I have to say that as a core workout, I probably prefer the squat. But then I've also seen people are skeptical. Some people are skeptical that it is enough core training in a squat.
I think that comes a lot down to whether you're a bodybuilder or a general fitness / powerlifter.
Because a bodybuilder, if you want to develop like crazy abs, then you have to do other stuff.
Ab hypertrophy,
yeah,
you gotta do
other stuff. But as a stability core exercise, then the squat is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. But do you have a more like abby exercise?
I do like planks. I hate them kind of. I mean, they're terrible to do, but I do like them. Mm-hmm. I feel that's probably the only ab exercise I do. What was the core exercise in general, really? Yeah. Jenny Marie says her favorite has to be glute stuff.
Those peaches?
Those are peaches
Ass
that look
peaches.
like butts. Donkey kicks with a barbell held in my knee. Yeah, those are good. And also the hip abductor and adductor machines. They are also nice. There's something really nice about just squeezing out and just, I don't know, moving your legs like that.
I heard a story where it was a guy on a podcast saying that in his gym they have the abductor and adductor machines facing each other. So sometimes you end up with someone with the opposite sex, or even maybe worse, I don't know, where you're like sitting straight in front of each other and doing like this. It's just wrong.
That's fun. Jenny Canary just says she didn't enjoy squats until she acquired more flexibility in the hips. Yeah, squat requires a lot of flexibility in the hips and in the ankles, most importantly. And we both have poor ankle mobility, something we need to work on actually. And so what I do to offset my poor ankle mobility during squat is that I put out some weight plates, and I stand with my heels on top of the plates to just elevate my heel a little bit, That way I can go deeper down in the squat without falling back.
Yeah. That's a very good tip, by the way. I don't know if you talked with Jenny Marie about that.
I did mention it to her, yeah.
Yeah, I bought weightlifting shoes, which are basically shoes with a high heel and very stable in general. You don't need to use the plates then, which feels more stable and is more safe. Yeah. But yeah, ankle mobility, fixing ankle mobility should be first priority.
Yeah. So now let's go through some, but just like without talking a lot about each exercise, let's just flow through a lot of exercises that we enjoy in the gym. Yeah. Should we do it either by push and pull, like you said, or should we do each muscle group maybe?
It's either just do push and pull, because
that's just three categories as opposed to like 7 or something.
I would say those are.
I want to do types of like muscle groups.
Okay.
So favorite chest exercise? Well, bench press, right? That's what you said just now.
Yeah, but I want to say cable flies.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too.
More for the
squeeze.
Mm-hmm. Isolation.
Yeah.
It's a very specific feeling. You're holding the things. I like to grab one, grab the other one, and then kind of go forward, and then letting it kind of like stretch, and you can feel the muscle fibers just like ripping.
Oh, it's such a nice feeling.
You get an insane chest pump.
Yeah, I wish there's nothing like the chest pump. Actually, that's the best of all the pump that you get. Yeah. The chest pump. I really wish. No, I don't. Wish is not the right word, but if I wasn't a runner, because as a runner I want to stay as light as possible. Yeah. But it's really difficult for me because I really like to go to the gym and I want to do a lot of chest exercises. I want to get that pump. I want to do the cable flies. I want to do the bench press. I want to do the dumbbell press. I just want to do a lot of stuff and pull as well. But I just like lifting weights. Yeah. And if it wasn't for the fact that I was running and had to stay light, I'd probably train a lot more in the gym with weights. But I have to curb my enthusiasm for the weights.
Favorite tricep exercise?
Well, I just have to throw in before I do that I do like the cable flies, but I also love the incline dumbbell press.
Yeah.
There's something about lying in the incline and pressing up with the dumbbells and feeling that upper pectoral contract and balancing the weights, and
it's a very healthy movement, I think.
Yeah.
Because you have to balance so much, and because upper chest looks better than lower chest in general.
Yeah, visually speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a symmetrical development and all that stuff. So, and I do like the process leading up to the lift, where you have to sit with the weights there, and it's somewhat of a challenge to get started. You know, once you're there in the position, it's okay. But
mm-hmm.
yeah, and feel free, Janice, to say if you have a favorite exercise for the muscle group that we're talking about, you can tell us about it.
Tricep. For me, I think the one I'm doing now basically is, and it's my favorite, I think, Tricep Skull Crushers with a easy bar, which is basically you're lying on your back on a bench, flat, and you're having a easy bar, the short bar with the crooked handles, and you're going like this, stretching and pushing up.
Yeah, I think I like.
The nice thing about that is that it works the long head of the tricep more. So yeah, it's very efficient at building bigger triceps.
Yeah, I think if I never do triceps, but if I were, or when I was back in the day, I do like the extensions, the cable extensions with the rope
push downs.
Yeah, where you're just like going out a little bit at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, what about upper back?
Well, let's just put back in one, because I mean upper, lower. I mean it's very specific, but yeah.
I think pull downs. I mean, I do love pull downs.
Yeah.
Something nice about just pulling down.
Pulling them downs.
Yeah.
For me, probably bent over barbell row, which is barbell exercise, and you're standing.
Remember that maybe we should not like spend 3 minutes on each exercise, but yeah.
You're standing on the floor. You're having the barbell on the floor. I'd like to have that, and pulling it all the way, controlled up to my chest and down.
I saw a guy the other day. He was doing like that one, but he was like, I don't know, bobbing back and forth like that. So he was kind of like not really moving the bar. He was just like getting in without actually pulling it, and holding it there, and then pushing it out again. You know, he felt really awesome, but he wasn't really doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Everyone has to go through a learning curve.
Jenny Canelata says that her upper body is quite weak compared to core legs. Yeah.
That's your situation as well until now. I mean, you used to be. Remember when we did that test? You had more muscle mass in your legs. You were like above average, even, I think, or at least around average when it came to leg muscle, but below average and upper body musculature.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of girls have easier to have stronger legs as compared to upper body, because they often do more leg work than upper body, and guys have often different situations.
One of the things that I would like to say though about girls in the gym is that huge myth is that, you know, a lot of girls are afraid to go in the gym. Not saying you guys are, but a lot of girls are afraid to go in the gym because they're afraid to bulk up, and that's such a kind of funny thing, because it's like
put on a lot of muscle, basically.
Yeah, if you want to put on a lot of muscle, if you want to bulk up, it doesn't just happen like that. It takes effort, concentrated, focused effort, doing it the right way, and even then it can be hard. And especially for girls, it's even harder than for guys to put on muscle. So if you're gonna gain a lot of muscle size as a girl, you really have to work hard on it. And before you get anywhere close to being a big girl, you'll get to a point where you're happy about it, you know. Or if you want to be a big girl, that's cool too.
Yeah.
But you know, generally speaking, muscles look good. That's the truth, you know. If you want to have a good looking body, muscles is the way to go. Fat too, of course. Fat plays a role too. You don't have too little fat or too much fat. We're talking from a strictly like aesthetic perspective now, of course. But muscles are good, and yeah, muscles are good.
Jenny Canelati, if you want to look like Arnold, you gotta take some serious juice. Sorry.
Yeah, he took a lot of steroids. He's open about that. But remember, it's not about the steroids, it's about the training. So he took a lot of steroids, sure, but that's not why he was looking the way he did. It's the training, It's the focused training. The steroids just give him that edge, you know. It's just like with Lance Armstrong. He's one of the greatest cyclists of all time. The doping just put him just that more up there.
Yeah. And genetics, I mean.
Yeah.
Huge factor.
Yeah, Jenny wants to put on muscle, and yeah, that's great. Muscle is good. So, I guess I was thinking we should also talk a little bit about, I mean, you mentioned sprints and stuff, but we haven't gone through all the muscle groups, so let's just fly through a few more exercises and not talk so much about them maybe, but let's say quads.
Yeah, I mean, what's your favorite type of squat?
Favorite type of squat? I mean, I've only tried one squat, and that's the normal high bar squat, I guess.
Yeah.
Your favorite?
I think maybe hack squat at the moment, where you have your bar behind your legs, and it almost looks like a deadlift, but with slightly more lean back, and the bar is behind your legs. Really rips the quads.
Yeah, it's nice to work the quads. My quads are still a little bit sore from my workout 2 days ago and my running, and I have a little bit of a muscle pull right there, which is not. It's been there for like 2 months. I have a weakness in this area. Yeah,
hack squat.
Hack squat. Yeah, that's the name.
A barbell hack squat. I mean, hack squats are generally done in machines, actually. So.
I also do like, you know, they don't even have a machine for this at the gym we're at, but like this one where you're like taking, it's basically a pec deck, like a fly machine, but reversed. So you're grabbing it there, and then you're pulling back to squeeze in the back of your rhomboids and trapezius and just that. You know, that's a nice exercise.
Yeah, pulling the face pulls in general, like that, is probably one of the most important exercises you can do because there's so much pushing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garrett is in the house. Juice Feast movement. Pistol squats. Oh yeah.
That's a hard one.
I can't even really do those.
Yeah, that's when we're going on just one leg all the way down and all the way up.
It's a one-legged squat, basically.
Yeah.
But with your leg pointing ahead.
Yeah.
It's really epic.
It's crazy.
Can you do a lot of those, Garrett? Are you doing them often?
200.
200. Uneducated on the subject. Well, you know, that made me think about something.
Yeah, Garrett, hip and ankle flexibility is crucial for it. Yeah, it is. I tend to just be able to do it if I stand on something high up with my leg, because then I can kind of go lower and I can balance my weight easier.
Yeah. Holding dumbbells too, that's awesome. I thought, you know, there's 2 books that I would recommend for anyone into strength training. The first one is well, you can talk about that one. The first one is my absolute favorite, and it does, you don't have to even be serious about it to get it, but this is the one. Strength Training Anatomy. I mean, Jenny Marie, if you're interested in getting this because you're you know, in the gym and having fun, this is like the ultimate book on learning exercises and how to do it, with illustrations on what muscles are involved in each exercise, all the names, the anatomy. This is like one of the most awesome books. I think I spent like probably, I don't know, like 60 hours. I probably spent 60 hours in my life studying this book.
That's a lot.
Yeah, because it's just awesome. So that's a good one. And then the other one there, Jenny already mentioned it. Starting Strength. I don't know what in before.
No, I think she didn't mention it. It was just a coincidence. She's asking ankle flexibility tips in before starting strength exercise. Before
doesn't
starting,
matter, but okay.
Whatever. But the point was Starting Strength. It's a book from Mark Ripto. It basically goes through the squat, bench, deadlift, and power clean, I think. Yeah. He's a proponent of doing very simple training, and you need very few exercises to build total body strength, and it explains the exercises in extreme detail.
He's obsessed. He's a fanatic, and that's a good thing.
I
like
a crazy guy.
I mean, just listen to this. I mean, I want to read this just the beginning here.
Yeah, you can find it. In terms of ankle flexibility tips, there's a ton, but I would check on YouTube. That's the best place to look for it. And stretching in general should be done as an active kind of stretching over minutes, rather than necessarily just doing a little bit before weightlifting, if that's what you meant. It has to be, you really have to focus on it.
The first sentence in the book is as follows: physical strength is the most important thing in life. Mm-hmm. That's the first sentence. So that tells you in a nutshell what that book is like. And just to sum up these 2 books, this is the book for the serious lifter, the power lifter, the strength training athlete, the that kind of thing.
Kind of.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say, like, if you're just going to the gym looking to improve your fitness and stuff, this is not going to appeal to you that much. No. Seriously, it's not. It's going to appeal. Don't you agree? It's going to appeal to the serious person wanting to build strength.
It's also for general fitness.
So
Like
if you had a
most of
random person who's like never been to the gym, want to get into learn lifting, and you would give him this book.
I would say it might be a good idea to buy the book after like 2 months.
We have different opinions. I don't think so. I think it would be a bad idea, but it is a good idea if you're serious about it. You know, this book, however, is for the absolute. This is for the beginner and the pro alike. This book everyone needs this book. This is how to do the exercises. You know. So I think this is an important one. Anyway, I guess we'll start wrapping it up, really. Jenny wants to ask something about stretching.
Where?
The bottom there.
Have you lost any of your flexibility? Yes, I have. I used to be able to, the one when you stand like this and push down. Now I can get fairly far. It hurts a little bit now. Now I'm very close to the mic. It hurts a little bit when my hands touch the flat of the floor. But I used to be able to get my elbows down there. And that pretty much explains it. That's the same for all of them. But flexibility is needed to the extent that it helps your overall goal.
I mean, you need range of motion.
Yeah.
But flexibility is also counter to strength. I mean, the stronger you get, the stiffer you get, in a sense. And you need to be fairly stiff in order to move the weight. I mean, if you want to pull a heavy weight, imagine like there's a big weight and you put a band around it and you're going to pull it. If that band is just elastic and super stretchy, you're not going to be able to move the band. Whereas if it's a rigid rope, then you can move the weight. So in a sense, you need flexibility, but you need the right amount of flexibility. So yes, Jenny, it is bad, I think, to be too flexible.
I would say only depending on your goal.
On your goal,
if you want to be a super flexible person who do yoga and whatever, go ahead.
But you might, I mean, if you're too flexible, you will not be able to do the amount of strength training you need to be healthy, though. So there is a crossover point.
Yeah, but I would say that's an extremely small. You don't need to worry about that at all.
You can't be too flexible.
5 years of training.
You can't be too flexible.
Not unless you want to be a pro.
Okay. As runners, you can definitely be too flexible, though. It's bad. You end up being very inefficient, not economical if you're too flexible. But I mean, it's not something like, oh my god, I'm too flexible. You don't have to worry about it like that. Do flexibility, get good range of motion. Stretching is good to a certain extent, definitely. Yoga is excellent stuff. But then add in some strength training as well. And as I made a video about it. It came out yesterday, I think, about strength training and cardio. Those two things need to be in your routine if you want to be healthy.
Yeah.
Just at the end, outside of Jenny has another question. That's okay. Would you say training with only body weight isn't sufficient for optimal health? That's a good question, and the answer is it depends. If you're able to lift your body weight, let's say we're talking pull-ups, if you can do like 20, 30 pull-ups, then it's not optimal because you need to have a heavier weight to overcome in order to build more strength.
Easier.
In that case, the gym is easier because you can just use weights and constantly adjust them week to week, month to month, year to year. As you get stronger, you'll lift heavier. Body weight is only appropriate for a certain amount of time. The other thing is, the other extreme is also true. If you're not very strong and maybe you're not even able to do one pull-up, well, are you going to do like a 1 repetition max every time you go to train? That's a bad idea. Much better than to do pull-downs, which is weights at the gym, where you can adjust the weight to something that's lighter than your body weight and crank out 5, 10, 15 reps and get more of a workout in. So it really depends. Body weight is good, but weights give you more preciseness.
That said, you can be super perfectly healthy and look amazing with just doing body weight stuff, but you can't become a bodybuilder. What I mean is...
Oh, you can.
Yeah,
No, I mean...
You're limited by your own weight.
That's true. Because, for example, the famous... I immediately thought about, Frank Medrano.
Yeah.
He's the calisthenics guy.
But he uses weights.
He uses weights. That's the thing, right? He does calisthenics, lifting his body weight, but he has chains around his neck, or he has weights attached to his body and stuff. So, what I said earlier was that, you know, is there anything outside of the gym other than, you know, that you really enjoy to do? You mentioned sprints. Is that something you like the idea of?
Maybe.
I think sprints is a healthy thing to include in a regimen, to get some fast running done. I mean, I do like sprinting. When I go to the track, I warm up and then I do some strides, which is like just accelerating for 30 meters and then sprinting almost all out for like 40-50 meters and then decelerating again.
Yeah.
I do like that feeling of just sprinting all out.
Yeah, feels good.
And as I said, I love running. That's my absolute favorite exercises. But I do like cycling too. You know, just getting out on the bike. Yeah. But last thing here, Garrett, if you're still there, we asked everyone earlier what their favorite. Well, I guess that's what you said when you said your pistol squats. Maybe do you have a favorite exercise? Like overall, was that the pistol squats that was your overall favorite exercise, or do you have another exercise which is your absolute favorite? In or out the that was the pistol squats. It is an excellent, you know, it's so good actually because you're doing squats, but you're actually developing both legs without doing it at the same time.
Yeah. Because
the thing is, when you're squatting with both legs, or any movement like a bench press, or when you're using both arms on the same bar, or just bodyweight squats even, is that if you have a little bit of a stronger leg, one of the legs is stronger, you can end up compensating with that leg, so the other leg ends up just getting weaker and weaker, and doing like single leg or single arm movements forces that leg or that limb to perform the whole movement without help from the other leg or the other arm.
Yeah.
And that's how you really develop that, you know.
He's saying he's been into a combo of body weight movement and gymnastics.
Nice.
Balance with yoga and cycling and some trail running. That sounds pretty perfect.
That's like
and you know,
that's a well-rounded, perfect program. It sounds like right there.
Yeah, and you know, you could look at gymnasts, male gymnasts, and they are insanely freaking huge biceps, and
they're really strong and they're really flexible. They're all the good things.
But they're big too.
They're big too. That's true.
Crazy.
No exact one exercise, but yeah, cool. That's it. I think we're gonna finish it off there. How many rest days a week? Are you asking Garrett or us? If you're asking us, then the answer is very much it depends on your training and your goals, right? Because and most importantly on your current fitness. Running wise, you know, Eliud Kipchoge, the guy who tried a 2-hour marathon, he said, I rest once a week. I saw like an interview, like I have a rest day once a week, and everyone's like, oh really? You have a rest day? Yeah, I just run 20 kilometers easy. So for him, running 20 kilometers is a rest day. For me, a rest day is no running at all, or no training at all. Like today, I have a complete rest day, no physical activity except for just walking around, having guitar lessons and hanging out with you guys. And so that's a rest day for me. You know, rest is relative, that's the thing. Jenny Marie has to crank out 6K today. That's good, cool. Garrett, most functional movements in life are open chain. What does that mean? Open chain?
Open chain? I don't know.
What did you mean by open chain? Not fixed to a barbell. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's right. Most of our everyday stuff, it's one arm, one leg. Running is a one-legged exercise. You know, you're always on one leg running.
Yeah.
Was that a good answer for the rest question? I mean,
you could. I could talk an hour about resting.
Mads should make a channel, right? Like he should make a channel about weightlifting and stuff, and try and talk about this for an hour.
Maybe.
Or a podcast, maybe. Seriously.
I don't have time for that.
You could do that. Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining. That was fun. I feel, you know, whenever we talk about something that we're obsessed about, like fruit or durian or fitness right now.
Yeah.
We get really excited about it. We can go forever.
Yeah.
It's dinner time though.
It is. So thanks again, for joining, and we'll see you next month or something.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
For another hangout.
Yeah. All right. Bye.